All right, guys, welcome to live review number 22, if I've got my information correct. And of course, joined by my partner in crime, Dean from Dean's Beer Reviews.
Hello.
How you doing, mate?
All right, mate. Not bad. Looking forward to these two bad boys. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
yes.
we're in for a good treat here with these two.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good episode. But
yeah,
so two beers that I'm very excited to drink. One of them I didn't actually think I'd find in England because it was quite hard to find it in Germany, actually. I think I only tried it once in the 4 years that I was living over there. And then when I saw Beers of Europe had them for like about 20 or 30p more expensive than the lager, I had to jump on it. And of course, get my good friend Dean a bottle of it because a fellow lager and Doppelbock fan.
Oh, yes.
And I'm talking about the beer. I've not even introduced it yet. So we've got the Augustiner Maximator Doppelbock. Oh, yes. And I don't think I'd actually ever seen this in England up until now. I'm not sure if you've ever come across it.
No,
in bottle shops or online.
A pretty rare one here, I think. I know Beers of Europe, as I'm seeing from your post when I did the unboxing, I mentioned it. It's a beer that doesn't really grace our shores that often, and I think when it does come here, it pretty much sells out rather sharpish, you know. So, I mean,
I was gobsmacked when I saw it, to be honest, and it's not exactly a white whale sort of territory, but for me to see a beer like this, probably not brought in the most legitimate way. It probably wasn't like arranged by the brewery and the distributor, but I'm not really too fussed because I'm just happy to be able to have this again. And I picked up a 6-pack of it, and I've got one more bottle after this one left. And I'm kicking myself for not getting the rest of them.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But so the Doppelbock. First of all, just fantastic looking artwork. There's something about like the bottle shape and the simple layouts of some German beers, but Augustiner. They've got it pretty much nailed. Yeah.
Before we crack open, mate, I'm gonna have to come off and then come back on because my battery's flashing on my laptop.
Yeah, no problems, mate. I'll talk a little bit about the beer then. Yeah, that's no problem.
I'll come back on it. So I just need to plug it in properly. It's playing up, mate, and I don't want to lose it when we open it.
Yeah, no probs.
Okay, see you in a bit.
All right, see you in a sec. But this I'll probably end up repeating this information when I'm talking to Dean about it. But this is a beer that when I tried it the first time, I was just blown away by it. Because as you probably all know, I'm a massive fan of German beer, and especially the German Doppelbocks, because there's just something so satisfying about them. But of course, I won't go into it too much because then it'd be pointless doing a review. But Doppelbocks, German brewing culture, you can't go wrong. And I have actually done a review of this beer on my channel. And then I actually did a sort of like a long-winded ramble when I picked this bottle up. Or this 6-pack of bottles. And just revisiting it, it was one of those moments. But if anybody's, because I don't think we've got any viewers at the moment, because we did start a tiny bit late. It's a little bit hectic back here, to be honest. But if anybody has ever tried this one, for those guys who are watching this after the live stream, then let me know your thoughts, opinions, because and again, I'll probably be talking to Dean when he comes back about this sort of stuff. But when I'm hearing people saying that they find lagers shit and bland and uninspired, you've clearly not drank like a traditional European classically brewed lager, because a Doppelbock it's a lager. It's a double strength. Well, not really. If it was double strength, it would be 10%. But yeah, it's a stronger than usual Doppelbock. But not too sure what the significance is of the artwork. I have very loosely looked at the history of the brewery, and it's like religious connotations and stuff like that. So, but I'm not too sure. But I just absolutely love that label. There's something like quite modern. It's almost like a modern take on like a throwback or something like that. But yeah, my bottle is best before July 2018, which is just over a month and a bit away, because we're coming towards June. And I think yours is the same as well, isn't it, mate? The 7th
Yes,
of
mate. Yeah,
2018.
exactly the same batch. Yeah.
But the thing with something like this, you don't really need to have it super fresh. So I reckon even a couple of years after the shelf life, you'll still have a pretty satisfying beer. And that's why I bought 6, because I was like, I'm going to keep hold of 1 or 2.
Do an aged
But it's
one.
like once you've popped that first bottle open, you can't just leave it at that if you've got more bottles.
It's very hard to have that philosophy of putting beers off and forgetting about them. I've tried so many times, and I've probably managed to get to about a year, and then that's been it really for me. It's quite a tough one to do when you open your door, you fancy a beer, and you just see them staring at you, and you're sort of like,
yeah, they might as well just have a sign saying "Drink me, drink me, drink me." But yeah, I think the only way I've ever really drank aged beers is if it was either given to me or if I bought it, like discounted because it was aged. Because you can sometimes find some really interesting, like discounted beers in some bottle shops, and you're like, yeah, it's not like a super fresh IPA. It's a imperial stout, but it's been aged for like 2 years, and it's like half the price it used to be.
They've done all the work for you as well, haven't they?
Yeah. That saved me the hassle and the emotional trauma of seeing that bottle or can every time I open my little shitty beer cellar, which is just a wardrobe. But anyway, I think we better get this beer opened.
I think we better, mate. Yes.
See what we get with this one. It's just instant.
Oh.
Just the look of it alone.
The head is creamy, it's dense. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it looks sticky.
Yeah.
In the glass. But a lovely sort of, it's almost a ruby, but with maybe a little bit of like a chestnut edge to it.
Yeah, it looks really glorious, that does.
Yeah, I just wish I had an actual German lager glass or something like that, because...
Well, I'm using a bloody wheat beer glass, I think, but what the hell?
It's good enough.
It's German anyway.
Exactly, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
That's amazingly sweet.
I'm getting sort of like a red wine quality to it. Big vinous in there.
Yeah, definitely. It's sort of like a fortified wine almost as well.
Or maybe a port sort of edge to it.
Yeah. It's quite a strong smelling beer as well, isn't it? It's really
It is, yeah.
bold.
There's a nice
Little
big
bit of
sweet
a
coming up.
little bit of woody earthiness in there as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like glazed cherries almost, like caramelized, like
Yeah,
stewed down in a pan.
go on, like that caramelization of some sort of fruit in there.
Yeah, but the ABV's masked really nicely.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not getting any inkling on the nostrils of the
no,
7.5. It's just a
it's
beautiful array of richness coming up.
yeah. The only sort of like alcohol, well, the only way you'd know it's alcohol is because of how that like port character that you picked up on comes through. Because I find a lot of those sorts of wines don't really smell too alcoholic. There's not that sort of classic. It's
Yeah.
like really nice, sweet but bold intensity, and you're getting that from this.
Hmm.
But anyway, I think we better talk into it.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Super indulgent beer.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's one of those ones that you're excited about, but you don't need to be like flailing around and shouting, because it's just as soon as it like gets down to there, it's just sit back in your armchair
yeah. It's
and just indulge.
the beer's in control, isn't it? It's full attention to it. It's so bloody drinkable.
Yeah, you'd think with those sort of like bold flavors, the ABV, that it'd be, yeah, it's going to be a supper, but it's not. You just want to take swig after swig of this one.
Yeah, and it's very, it's one of them sort of mindfuck beers. It's very complex, and I'm sure as we're going through the beer, we'll be pulling bits and pieces out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's got a super refreshment factor to it. Like you say, like go back to more sort of feel to it. It's
Yeah. So sticky though. It's one of the syrupiest doppelbocks I've ever had.
syrupy, sweet, fruitcake.
Mm-hmm. It's got such a big body to it as well.
Mm. Yes, it reminds me a lot of that. That's a Zambok.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The is it Waltenberger? The cluster is Zambok.
Yeah, I think it is.
With the sort of like the richness to it.
Yeah.
Heavy but soft. I know I come across it quite a bit on these sort of beers. It's got a very heavy mouthfeel, but at the same time, it's soft and drinkable. I mean, that's a weird analogy to it.
I know what you mean, because obviously it's coming from, it's a lager first and foremost.
Yeah,
it still retains that like crisp, somewhat like it's weirdly crisp, but sticky, sweet and smooth at the same time.
Mm. You can feel it on your lips. It lingers around, doesn't it? That oily, slick stickiness to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had like these big imperial stouts that aren't as sticky as this after like that first after you've been drinking it.
Mm.
And that they're like beers that are like full with like molasses and syrup and all sorts of stuff to bump that ABV up. But this is, I mean, I'm not too sure like how drastically different the sort of the recipe would be from a Helles to a Doppelbock, but the way I understand it, it's just about that malt, just intense, dark, like overload of malts. And I bet it smells absolutely gorgeous when they're brewing this beer.
Oh,
in that brewery.
You wouldn't get sick of it, neither would you?
No.
It's one of them memorable standout beers that's, you know, Augustiner, classic German quality. It's a proper well-engineered beer. What's the price of this then in Germany for a bottle of this, roughly?
In Germany, it's usually about, the times I saw it's about €1.30 for it.
That's just mental, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's just like, I mean, we've talked about like the price comparisons so many times, but it's just, the more you think about it, the more it fucks with your head. The fact that even though, again, it's quite hard to find when it's actually in jars, even in like Munich at the time it was being released. And I was like going to supermarket after supermarket after supermarket and just could not find one single bottle of it. So, I mean, I wouldn't imagine it's like a limited batch. They must produce a hell of a lot. But the fact that even in Germany, this is quite hard to come by.
Says a
but
lot.
Still really affordable when you find it. It's like you've got no excuse not to just, I've got €10 here. Give me €10, even more. Yeah.
And it just goes to show on this sort of level of brewing, German macro, what sort of benchmark they're setting for quality, because you would never ever get a UK macro brewery making stuff like this and selling it at them sort of prices, you know, because you're talking. Well, I don't even know what a can of Carlin costs, but it's just over the price of a can of Carlin, isn't it? And look what you're getting for it.
Pretty much, yeah. That's a really good point. It just blows my mind because you very rarely actually find, you very rarely find like cheap lagers for like less than £1 here in the UK. I find they're really overpriced where I am.
Yeah.
Like there's a premium price on stuff like Stella, Estrella, even stuff like Carling and things like that. But then you go over to Germany and they're like equivalent of these. Like we've actually put care and attention into this beer.
You can just tell that the presentation of the bottle, you know, it just oozes hundreds and hundreds of years of history and dedication. And that comes through as well in the taste. It's a proper, you know, a lot of TLC's gone into it. Yeah, all right, it might be all done on you know, pushing buttons and stuff because of volumes and the size of the brewery. But nevertheless, they've never ever took their eyes off the ball when it comes to sort of the quality of this beer. And I think that's reminiscent throughout the line of all the beers that they do. You know, the Augustiner Helles that we both like. Really fantastic beer.
Yeah, that's just a mind-blowing beer in itself, and it's just a very simply brewed lager. It's like, I mean, I know styles like this still get quite a bit of stigma. Although it is nice to see a lot of the more craft brewers doing lagers, even though most of them are just overly hopped beers. Even though I sound like a broken record when I'm talking about craft lagers, but
No,
It's
fair,
nice to
fair comment.
see, yeah, it's nice to see actually the UK craft beer scene producing beers like this. And I mean, even like brewers like Lost and Grounded, who, from what I can see, they sort of specialize in sort of traditional European like beer styles.
Yeah.
And even though there is stigma, it's nice to see that there's this like the culture's starting to appreciate these beers now. Like most online craft beer shops and most bottle shops will stock stuff like Augustiner, Tegernseer, Schneiderweisse, these rarely established traditional beers. And from what I've like read, a lot of our, the head brewers. I mean, I think is his name Paul, the head brewer from Cloudwater. His favorite beer of all time is the Tegernseer Pils, but yet his brewery's famous for like these super juicy, dank.
Yeah.
And his favorite beer is like, oh yeah, it's just a simple Pilsner, but it's just done so spot on.
And with a lot, if not all the German brewers that are making beers of this sort of ilk, they've been going a lot longer than craft breweries. So it's nice to sort of step into their world occasionally and take a little bit of knowledge out and put it into whatever you're brewing at the time, craft wise. And I think that's like a respectful sort of nod to the past, isn't it? Well, present as well, because they're still going. But
yeah, but it's just like, how amazing would this beer be if you were to have it like the week or so it's been like released and it's in the sort of like on site like restaurant where you can get it on like a 500ml glass at like €3 or something.
Yeah, for me it's definitely a standout moment with these sort of beers. I love it. I absolutely love it. Just right up my street.
Exactly. It's like, to me, it's one of the best Doppelbocks that I've ever tried. But then again, I think it's hard for a German brewer to mess up a Doppelbock. The only real time that I've had slightly dull Doppelbocks is when some of the German craft breweries do them. But then there's always like, oh, we want to do a little bit of a twist on it. And it's like, well, there's nothing wrong with you just making a simple Doppelbock and just releasing it. Probably going to cost a little bit more for less beer, but there are people who are going to still buy it. And I'd actually like to see a lot more German craft brewers just make a Doppelbock.
Just make a bog standard Doppelbock. You can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, just make a Doppelbock. Yeah, maybe use some slightly different malts in it, but don't change it around too much. It doesn't need to be like a dry hopped Doppelbock, which I'm all for. I'd happily give that a try. Any Doppelbock that I see, I'll always pick it up. It's like with Rauch beers. I'll always pick up a Rauch beer. Sometimes it just, you don't get the smoke at all from like interpretations, but I don't know. It's
I'm all for people sort of dabbling and playing about with styles and creating again, a sub-style within a sub-style and so on, because that seems to be what's happening. And I do embrace that ideology of that, because it's always good to play about with stuff. But sometimes with certain styles, like you say, that just make a Doppelbock. You don't have to sprinkle loads of fucking stars and whatnot on it. Just focus on the basics. But we've got plenty of breweries that are still going that are doing the basics. This perfect example.
Yeah, and it's a massive brewery. It's obviously not a small operation. Because it's one of the most dominant breweries in Munich. And you know, it might not have like the backing of like AB InBev or anything like that, like Paulaner does. But again, Paulaner still produces some of the best classic, affordable German beers.
Yeah,
that you can find. Yeah.
No complaints.
So I think Germany have got it nailed down. Even Beck's is a fairly solid product. And
I've had that for a long while, Beck's. I used to drink quite a lot of it.
Yeah.
I always used to be.
Yeah, I think it was the Beck's Fear, the 4% version that was around.
Oh,
that was one that I used to get pint after pint after pint. But yeah, that's funny. I've not actually tried Beck's outside of Germany since I've been to Germany, so I'd be interested to see if there's any slight differences, because I'm not sure if it's imported or if there's like it's subcontracted at a different sort of location, because I'm not sure who actually owns Beck's or if Beck's owns anyone else. That's weird. But yeah, these traditional breweries, they nail it every time, and it's one of those instances where I'd happily pay the money, because it wasn't a cheap 6-pack for this. It was like, it ran up to about 26 quid. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to pay 26 quid for beers that I know I won't just knock back and say, yeah, that was nice. I know every bottle that I'll have.
Yeah, no, it's fair play, mate. Like I say, I mean, we said at the start of this review, it's got my respect for sure. I you know, complete respect for this beer because it's fantastic. But yeah, it has got that chuggability factor to it. It's crazy. Should it have that factor to it because of the complexity in it? It's weird.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I always think of when I've drank a beer and I'm like, that is amazingly drinkable. And part of me is thinking that's a great thing, because it means that you find it a tasty product. But at the same time, it's like, but do I just want to?
Yeah, that's what
I think
where I'm going.
Or do I want to sit back and like respect the beer a little bit? But
yeah, am I being disrespectful to this beer by necking it?
Yeah,
because it's not just a run of the mill crappy lager, is it? That you just neck it to quench your thirst and think nothing of it, because it's got bags and bags of flavors in there. So you know it's like fruitcake for me. Toffee, a little bit of sweet toffee, fruitcake, a real nice sweetness to it. Not sickly sweet, but not, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you could have like 3 or 4 bottles of this and it wouldn't get sickly, I don't think. I mean, you'd feel it because it's 7.5%, but it wouldn't be because, oh, it's too much. I can't take it anymore. It's like the room's spinning now. I can't continue. But I don't. It's one of those beers where if you want to look for complexities, they're there. But weirdly, if you just want to enjoy yourself and knock it back, it's got that aspect to it as well. And I think
it's best of both worlds.
Yeah, I think to me that's what I like specifically about the German macro stuff, and especially the Doppelbock, because I think it's only been like the Paulaner Doppelbock which you feel that ABV. That is a beer that does not hide the ABV well, but it does it in a way where you know that you're drinking a little bit stronger than most Doppelbocks. I think it's more towards the 8%, if I remember correctly. But it's not like this like I'm just tasting alcohol now. It's like it's telling you I'm a strong beer, respect me. But then you drink this and like the the Weltenberger one, and it's like, yeah, I'm a strong beer, but just devour me, just chug me down.
Yeah. I'm not getting no alcohol whatsoever in this.
No.
If I didn't know the ABV to this, no way on earth would I sit this at 7.5. I'd be 4.8, 5.
Yeah.
Tops. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane to me. And I think this is one of those beers that the flavour hasn't really changed too much over the years. Probably it's only really changed with like maybe the quality of ingredients and the preservation of those ingredients as they're grown and stuff has probably changed the flavour. So it probably tastes maybe a little bit better now. It's one of those ones I can imagine this tastes better now because they've got it nailed down. They've got that consistency. But at the same time, when this was like first being brewed, I imagine if you'd be able to experience what that beer would taste like 200-300 years ago. I mean, they may well have changed the recipe over the years, and if they have, I'd be really interested to see someone, not necessarily Augustiner, but just a brewery, take these like old brewing logs and brewing recipes and thinking, we're just going to rebrew that, see what happens.
Just to give because no doubt this has got a pretty staunch following in Germany and the world for that matter. So it would definitely, if they were to go back and go through them brewer logs, a bit like the Guinness thing, pull back some real old styles, recipes, and whatnot of this beer or another beer from their range, and brew it again as a one-off limited edition jobber. I think it would bloody fly out. It would definitely sell. And they could probably crank the price up a tad, and make a few quid out of it at the same time, and get a very satisfied audience from it, because I suppose it's just a beer geek thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
If I saw a limited edition of this, I'd want to try it, definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like the authentic, like unfiltered version. Now that'd be hello.
But I don't reckon it has changed that much. I don't know.
I can't
just a guess.
Yeah. But it's like I've come to realise that Doppelbocks, and I've probably brought this up before, Doppelbocks have very similar qualities to English strong ales. You get some very similar flavours in there. When it's done right, I mean, my go-to strong ale is the J.W. Lee's Moonraker.
Okay.
Because that is I don't know if you've tried that one. That's an absolutely beautiful beer.
No, I haven't come across that one yet. I think I've had a J.W. Lee's beer, but not the Moonraker.
Yeah,
that's a strong.
Yeah, that's an English strong ale. I think I've only ever seen it in Asda, but not sure if it change depending on location. But that was because I'd always had, when I tried like English strong ales before, I used to find them quite boring. It's like, it's just malty. But I think over time, as I've matured with my palate, and then trying other things, that's the weird thing about beer, and I suppose you can apply it to a lot of other things. It's like something might get a little bit boring, tedious, and you sort of stray away from it, but then just all of a sudden you'll go back to it, give it another go, and then next thing you know, you're going, oh, hello. But the Moonraker for me was probably what really made me start to appreciate the English strong ale a lot more. And they're very similar. And I find that weird that one's a lager and the other's an ale. So completely different brewing techniques.
Hmm.
And again, I think it comes down to the malt build.
The malt build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think beers like Doppelbock especially, it just showcases how amazing German malts can be.
Mm.
Even though Germany is a little bit more known for like the, mandarin hop, the Tettnauer hop, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. No, I definitely see where you're going with that, because a few times as I was drinking this, I got a little bit of not a carbon copy of it, but very familiar to the Old Roger, which is a strong ale from Marston's. Yeah, with that multi fruit cake sweetness thing in there, it is very, very comparable to that beer for me, and maybe a little bit Fuller's 1845 as well.
Yeah, that's a really good beer, the 1845. In fact, I think that would be an interesting episode for the future, comparing like a really good English strong ale with a really good Doppelbock.
Doppelbock, yeah.
And to see if they are actually quite similar when you put them head to head.
Mm. Just little things just pop into your head with it.
Yeah. I mean, it was like I was, we were talking offline about Left-Handed Giant, and I tried the pistachio and honeycomb milk stout, and I just thought out of the blue, I'm going to try and pair this with donuts. And it worked. It's amazing what beer can do, and how it can. Yeah, because it's a lager. It's going to go well with beer. It's going to go well with pizza, barbecue, curries. Yeah, that's why when you go to any sort of restaurant, there's always definitely going to be a lager in the alcohol section. But this stout can go with a freaking donut. And it sort of like works together. And I don't know, I can't think of any other sort of beverage that does that, aside from wine, of course, but I don't really see too much variety from wine to wine in that specific sort of style. But of course, I'm not, a wine head.
No, I my father-in-law's, and he still is. He's big in his red wine, and I dabbled with it short, with him, just if we go out for meals and stuff as a family, or just have a glass sitting in the house, And I did sort of kind of enjoy it. I mean, I got slightly into the South African and the Australian Shirazes and all that, but it become a bit sort of, I was getting terrible indigestion from it, and it's not really for me. I'm just drinking it for the sake of it because, don't want to piss my father-in-law, basically, or whatever, and I knocked it on the head. But yeah, going back to that wine thing. I mean, is there a lawnmower wine? Like, with a beer, just cheap adult lager, lawnmower beer,
Yeah.
In that, what wine's completely different from that, isn't it? It's
I mean, I think that the closest you'll get to like a lawnmower wine is like one of those small bottles. And I think that's the only sort of equivalent that wine has got. It's like with spirits as well. It's always like these little taster sort of bottles. But with beer, you can actually have. I mean, I'm sure you can have like alcohol-free wine. Well, yeah, I think you can actually. But
this is just so more universal, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you've got different tiers, haven't you? You've got your crappy Trump drink, and then you've got your proper high end barrel aged whatever. With wine, I mean, you do get cheap wine and beer wine, but I think the variation of beer is just no other beverage can sort of get close to it, can they?
No. And I think it's amazing how drastically different you can make a beer from just the four main ingredients. And then of course you can add stuff to it. You can brew beers with stuff taken out of it. And it's just amazing, and it's just so satisfying to have a traditional, simple, solidly brewed, but so satisfying drinking experience.
It's the bee's knees, mate. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, I've nearly finished mine already.
Yeah, I've got a lot left. It's just crazy.
It's a beer that just can't sit around. It just can't sit around. And I'm actually surprised that I've been able to actually keep hold of more than one bottle up until this point, because when I first got them, I that night opened one and just sat in front of the camera for about 20 minutes just talking absolute nonsense because I'd already reviewed it. But it was just so good to revisit that beer and then think about different. It's weird what beer can do. Yeah, but that to me. Oh, sorry, dude.
How would you rate it in this? I mean, I think am I right in thinking there's 3 beers with the tour on the end of it? You've got this, the Celebrator, and what's the other one? I think we reviewed it, didn't we? Did we do a joint review on that? Or
I think so. I think we've done actually quite a few Doppelbocks, or at least.
But you know what I mean? It's got that TOR on the end of it.
Yeah, I think you'll always find like a Doppelbock ends with the Ator.
Ah, okay.
I'm not too sure the significance of it. But I think every Doppelbock I've had has actually had the Ator on it. I'm trying to think what it was. We had the Salvatore. That was the Paulana one. Yeah. And I think I'm not sure. I think that was technically the first Doppelbock. So I'm sure this is probably completely incorrect. But I think to replicate the success of the Salvatore, local breweries sort of adopted a similar sounding name.
Oh, and just put their little spin on it to make it.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, okay.
Which would make sense to like sort of cash in on the.
Yeah.
But yeah, just how crazy is that to think when like this was first brewed and first available? Like, would there be people like us who are like, this is more than just a clean drinking sauce. This tastes really good, actually. I mean, I don't know, because surely there's been people like hundreds of years ago who are like beer hobbyists. That's a weird thing to think about when you do think about it.
Yeah, a blogger from the 1870 journal. Blogger. Pop to Augustiner today. See what was on offer.
Yeah. This fantastic new brewery, Augustiner. The monks finally opened their brewery today.
Yeah.
And gave me an invite. It's like, okay.
Wow.
But I think it's clear what we think about this beer.
Yeah.
To me, 10 out of 10. There's just nothing.
I'll go with that as well.
Nothing wrong. It's not even like, oh, but there's so many beers like this. How can you give it a 10 out of 10 compared to all these? It's just a standout example of the style, and it's what I look for when I go for a Doppelbock.
Yeah, I'll go with that. It's right up my street. It's 10 out of 10 all day long. It's just so easy to gone near enough. You know, we've been chatting away and whatnot, and you know, good sort of relaxing beer. You can switch off with it and just keep drinking it and not realise eventually it will catch up with you, because that ABV will kick you up the arse eventually. There's no getting away from that. But one bottle, that's bloody, yeah, top drawer stuff.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on Beers of Europe from now on, just in case they get another batch of that. And it's like we were saying at the start, this is in just less than a couple of months. That's the best before date, and it just tastes absolutely fantastic. And I can't imagine the flavour would have deteriorated too much.
No. I think that ABV would sort of keep it intact, wouldn't it? You know, keep a rein on anything that's in there just to see it over the edge. It would be interesting to see how a beer like this would taste, forgetting about it for a couple of years. I think you still have a pretty good experience from it yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, a resounding success, I think, to put it mildly. So I'll quickly check the comments before we go on to the next beer, which is going to be a completely different kettle of fish.
Another session beer, really, isn't it?
Yeah, just we saved the weakest till last, I think. And we've got a comment from Terry from Terry's Quick Beer Reviews. How you doing, my friend? Always a pleasure when Terry's around. And he says, "Hello, guys. Nice to see another live chat. Keep them coming. As long as the beer is available, we'll do these as much as we possibly can."
Oh, yes.
And thank you for joining us, my friend. And then another good friend of ours, Craig from Kent Beer Reviews, says, "Hi, guys. How are the beers?"
Craig.
And yeah, Craig, if you can, if that bottle's floating around, do what you can to pick up.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah,
I would recommend that to everybody. That's a glorious beer.
And I think just one final point. I think because it's not really too harsh, I think that'd be a really good beer if you wanted to get into Doppelbox. If you found it, I'd say, oh, drink. It's not one of those ones where I'd say, oh, drink other examples before you try this one. I'd be like, if you see it, give it a go, because it's
definitely.
Yeah,
go straight in at the top on the style. If you're dipping your toes in the water with a Doppelbock, go straight in at the top and get that, because that's definitely got to be up there, hasn't it? For one of the best in its style, it's got to be.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, unfortunately, I forgot to do the sort of scores on this one, but I'd imagine it's got to have high numbers.
There might be a few haters out there, but what?
Yeah. But oh well. So, the finale of tonight, and this is well, people can see the thumbnail, they've seen the title. We reviewed the standard version of this, and it was pretty damn special.
Yes.
And just the name and the concept of this one, hopefully we'll take it to that next level.
Yeah.
So going over to Evil Twin Brewing, and this is a can of the Even More Coco Jesus, which is an imperial stout brewed with maple syrup and coconut extract. And
I really do hope that coconut comes through.
Yeah, I really want that coconut to come through.
Yeah, definitely.
And that is clocking in. Where did I find the ABV? The ABV seems to have disappeared.
It's a measly 12%, mate.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah.
Midweek beer, if I ever saw.
Is that 1.2% Radler? Is it?
Yeah. The lemon mix. Okay, and best before date on mine is the 8th of October 2027.
What was your best before, mate?
8th of October 2027.
29th of September 27.
Ah.
27.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, some of these
Not
last
that
before.
big, that long.
I think I've even seen like Mikella have IPAs where it's like 2 year shelf life, and it's like no.
No.
I don't know why you'd want to keep that. But yeah, I'll quickly read the spiel on this one. So, a few times in the history of craft beer, a highly praised beer rises beyond the printing's weird on my can. Rises beyond normal. Oh my god, that's almost unreadable.
Mortal.
Yeah, mortal stardom into a. Do you know what? I think you're best off reading it because I'm having trouble.
Into a high godly league, usually the recipe to make such heavenly drops is a thick fudge-like body, pitch black colour, amazingly overwhelming aromas of chocolate, coffee, dark fruits, muscovado, sugar, maple syrup, coconut, and obviously only made in limited amounts. People, this is taste of rare.
So they're quite modest then.
Yes. Brooklyn, New York. Stratford. CT, what's that then? Brewed by Eagle Twins, Stratford CT. Connecticut, is that?
Yeah, I thought CT was Connecticut.
Distributed by 12%, Brooklyn, New York.
Ah, okay.
I don't know that how that works.
Yeah, I'm not too sure because I think Evil Twin. I don't think they've actually got a brewery. I think they're one of those ones who just go from place to place. And can you brew this beer for us?
Because they were originally Danish, weren't they? Or
I think
some
so.
Scandinavian. Yeah.
I think that the guy that runs Evil Twin is the brother of the guy who owns
Mikella.
Yeah.
Good pedigree in the family there, then.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh.
We found oil.
Engine oil, yes.
Oh my god.
Oh. Wow, look at that head.
Yeah.
There's only a little bit on it, but it's nearly as dark as the bloody brew.
Mine dissipated really quickly. That's just like a solid black. God, just look at the legs on the edge of the glass. That is intense. Jesus Christ.
There's no getting through that, is there?
No. You always expect to like drop something on it and it just rests on the top.
It just sits on top of it, yeah.
Yeah. God, that looks chewy.
Right, let's get a nose, eh?
Jesus Christ. I'm definitely getting that coconut on this one.
Bounty bar.
Yeah, but dark chocolate bounty bar is what I'm getting on this.
I'm getting a lovely, shall we say, scented alcoholic whiff to it, which is always nice in this sort of style. It sort of the coconut and the alcohol coming up together. It's very rich, indulgent.
Yeah. That is big, bold, sweet flavors on this. Oh my god. But yeah, it's just like I got a little bit on my nose and it's actually stained my skin. That's a dark, intense beer. Jesus Christ.
Is this what the tip over the roads then, is it?
Yeah. We've got some potholes.
Yeah, bitumen, even twin. Tip a tin of that in and I'll fill it.
Yeah, but I tell you what, for 12%, they've masked that alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, it comes through, but it doesn't sort of like knock your neck back or anything, does it?
It doesn't burn like the nostril hairs, like some of these beers can, where you can like get that like really potent alcohol. aroma, even though it's not like an ethanol like some beers have.
Oh no,
like,
no, nowhere
yeah.
near that.
It's really quite fragrant in that coconut on mine.
That's a good sign, because I think, judging from the nose of it, with the coconut sort of smell, it come through.
See, this is indulgent, just as indulgent as the Maximator smell, but in like a completely different way.
Yeah. You know, you're not going to be able to knock this one back. This one is going to be a sipper.
Yeah, you're going to take your time with this, and the fact that it's available in like a bigger can.
Yeah. Crazy that is it a 500 or is it a 440?
I'm not too sure actually.
1 pint, so that is that.
So I get confused with like the American pint system.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think it's a 500. Yeah, I reckon that is a 500 myself.
Yeah.
It doesn't say on the can, does it?
No, it just says a pint. Can't stop smelling it.
Oh, I think we should chuck in, mate.
Yeah, I think we should.
Thank you very much, Peter.
No
Cheers.
problem. Anytime. Cheers. You had like pressure against your lips as it was going in. That is a thick beer. Yeah, there's actual resistance when you're drinking that.
There is.
It's weird.
I think I'm going to go and grab a spoon, actually.
Yeah, just scrape it off the sides.
Jesus, that's proper thick. I can't remember the original being like this.
No.
Mouthfeel wise, anyway, I don't think it was this heavy.
No, I don't think it was. That is probably one of the biggest mouthfeels I've had in an Imperial Stout.
You more or less have to bite it.
Yeah.
Flavors, again, another mindfuck of what's going on in the glass, isn't it? There's loads going on with it.
That is a really complex Imperial Stout. Again, it's one of those beers that inside you're like screaming and like you're going like but you're just drinking it and it's like sink back into the armchair and just
melt into
what's going on around me.
Yeah, I think that's just what I'll do. Exactly, mate. Actually, a textbook there. Now, the first thing that pops into my head, other than the mouthfeel, was well, it's in 12%. I mean, it isn't.
Yeah,
that is, but not as I was expecting. A little bit more.
Yeah, I don't think the original masked it as well as this does.
No, that coconut is definitely in there.
Oh yeah.
Flaked, like what you get on a fairy cake, you know, the flaked coconut.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit, not too. It's not too overwhelming in there. There's a little bit in there.
If it gets a bit too strong, it gets too perfumey. I find that it's just like.
I think they've got it just teed up quite nicely with the amount of coconut that's in there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely detectable.
I tell you what, I'm getting little to no bitterness on this beer.
No.
It's sweet on the back end.
Dark chocolate bitterness, maybe.
Yeah,
A little bit of dark chocolate.
but it's. I don't know. It's one of those ones where I'm not really sure what's going on when I'm drinking this. I mean,
Yeah,
the Doppelbock was sticky, but this is taking it to another level.
Yeah. This is like glue. This is on the old lips.
Yeah, my lips are sticking together when I'm drinking this one with that residual.
Yeah, I mean, we've done the Maximator, and now this is the top coat.
Exactly. This is
A lovely sweetness in there. That's pretty nice in there. Yeah, there's no real sort of like standout flavour in it, is there? There's little bits and pieces that is going on in there.
There's no like domineering, overwhelming factor to it. It's for a 12% beer, that is surprisingly well balanced. But it delivers on what it promises. You get that sort because maple syrup isn't really too sweet, I find. It's got that sort of like slight woodiness. Obviously, because it's coming from a maple tree. So you're not expecting like sugar sprinkled on top. It's got a bit more of like a grounded sort of like,
I would.
As weird as it sounds, it's got a bit more of a browner edge to it, as opposed to like caster sugar or icing sugar. It's got a sort of like muscovado.
Well, yeah, I mean muscovado in it. I was going to say that I'm linking the muscovado up with the sweetness in the beer, and then that maple syrup with the oiliness and the stickiness of it. And then a little bit of bitter, slightly bitter, dark chocolate bouncy bar sort of thing in there. Vineness.
Yeah, definitely get that vineness.
Like a cognac almost as well, isn't it? A real good, decent brandy sort of tone to it.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. It's just one of those beers that I'm absolutely loving it, but I can't really put into words what's screaming out to me with this one, because it's so well balanced. It's amazing how well balanced and thought out this recipe is. Because you look at the artwork on the can, and it is quite in your face. It's like, it's bombastic. It's like like pow 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 pow. But it somehow manages to deliver what it promises on the front of the can. But at the same time, it's like, just take a seat, relax, lose yourself for about half an hour, and just enjoy the beer. And
I get that.
Yeah.
A very relaxing beer.
Mm-hmm. But it's going down way too quickly for my liking. It's one of those ones where I know I should like sip it and just like take a little bit at a time, but those flavors are so nice and indulgent. It's as indulgent as a beer can get for me personally.
It's definitely that little step up from the original, I think.
Yeah. I definitely say the inclusion of the maple, the muscovado, and the coconut have definitely taken that like roasty character that I found from the original. Because if I remember correctly, the original one was like just a really solid, classic imperial stout, like big, chewy, but not going off in too many directions.
I think it was more dedicated to the sort of like the roasted coffee. I'm not getting any coffee at all. I'm not getting any coffee elements to this beer at all, really.
No.
Where like you say, the original, just a dedicated, full-on impy stout, roastiness, coffeeness, and a bitterness. This is leaning definitely a completely different direction, really, with the additions of the maple syrup and the coconut. It's just took it off that different sort of avenue. And I mean, I don't know how many beers are there in this range that are doing this even more range. There's about 3 or 4.
I think they're like every couple of years. I think it's like a new one that they release. Because I know the one that's doing the rounds now is the even more pecan Jesus.
Pecan pie, yes.
Pecan pie Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that about. I've seen the biscotti. Biscotti break and the donut break. I've seen that one, them 3. So that'll be what, 3, 5 then altogether. Well, no, actually, there might be 6 actually, because I think I've seen even more GSCs.
Okay.
Or whether that's a rebadged version of the original, I don't know. It's just the initials.
Yeah.
I think it's GCS. Even more GCS. I saw that on Beer Jump, but I didn't look into it. I just see it popped up as I was scrolling through.
Yeah. I think that's the great thing about this beer is the base beer itself. Because I'd imagine they've used the beer and then just experimented and added like the adjuncts to it.
Yeah.
So because I think we even talked about that on the original review. It was like they've nailed the style. It's classic. It's not, too adventurous. It's just solidly brewed, like 10%. Was the ABV the same, or is this a little bit higher because of the inclusion of the added sugar? Because I know they use molasses in the original.
Yes, I think I've got 11 point something in my head, but
11 point. Yeah.
It might be 12 again, but I think it was 11 point. And I can't check. We did it on your channel, didn't we?
I think so. I'm not too sure. Oh yeah, that's tasting damn good. So I'll quickly read the comments that we've got. So Craig says, another beer I need to get. Yeah, definitely, Craig. Highly, highly recommended. Because I think you did one of the Jesus beers for your 500th review, if I remember correctly. I can't remember when you were in Madeira. I think you might have done the biscotti, actually. Can't remember. And he says, in relation to Dean, that grass will not get a look in tonight.
No.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. Yeah. Both first class beers.
Yeah. Both amazing beers for completely different reasons.
I know, 12%, mate. Yeah, 12%, exactly the same.
God.
Yeah. Just looking on Beer Gonzo. I think when I would
they've done
the
quite a few.
I mean, when I'll send you some beers again in the not too distant future. I think I'll pop one of these beers in. I'm not too sure which one it'll be, but I'll pop one in because I think it'd be nice just to keep this theme going.
This little sort of
series.
And
then just 11.5 the biscotti. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, that'll be awesome to cover these beers. Because, to be honest, aside from this and the Even More Jesus, don't think I've ever had an Evil Twin beer. I've just not really seen too many floating about, aside from these like big tall boy cans, which
Yeah,
when I first saw them, I was a little bit put off by the price. But I think I mean, there's no way that I'd buy this like beer on a regular basis because I just won't be able to justify paying the price that it demands. But to have a solid brewing experience, because I've not even heard of any of the other batches like tasting weak or being a little bit off. Every like version of the Jesus series, if it's called that, has been, yeah, it's a really solid brewed beer. I've never heard anyone saying it's okay.
yeah. No, same here. It's got a pretty good a good pedigree of quality attached through it across the whole of the series, shall we say. A lot of people speak very highly of this beer over the one that we did, the original.
Yeah,
I think for me, this just edges it because of what's going on. There's a little bit more going on with it. It's got that little bit more of a appealing factor to.
Yeah, there's like a few more satisfying flavors in this one. But the more I'm drinking it, the more sweeter it's getting for me. It's a very, very sweet beer.
Have you chilled yours down or just pulled out?
No, both the beers tonight I've just kept in out of the light as much as possible and just at room temperature.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Yeah, with the Doppelbock, that Doppelbock would still taste absolutely fantastic, even if it was slightly chilled down. But this, I don't think I'd want to risk even thinking of putting it in the fridge.
Yeah, you don't do it with this sort of beer, do you?
No.
I think I don't normally drink. Right, it's I mean it's still quite muggy where I am. There's still quite a sort of sticky in the air, you know. So if I wasn't doing this review, I'd probably be sort of still drinking a IPA or a Pilsner or something like that because it's still quite humid. So for me, this is an experience in itself because it's not really a style of beer I gravitate towards when the weather's sort of like how it is. But I am enjoying it still. You know, it's top draw.
It certainly is. It's another absolutely beautiful beer.
I'll sleep well tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I'll be having too many more beers after this. In fact, I don't even know if I'll be having a beer after this one. But
I've been drinking all day. I have, and I thought I got to about was it 4:30, 5 o'clock. I thought, fucking, I'm doing a review with Peter. I better rein it back.
Well, funny enough, I had because I bought a 4-pack of Dead Pony in the cans because it was quite fresh actually in my local Asda. Because the best before date was like August 2019. So I was like, that's got to be pretty damn fresh. And I drank a can yesterday because I was doing I was trimming the front garden. Didn't really think too much about it, but realised that this beer's tasting absolutely shit. I don't know what they've done to Dead Pony Club, but that was like for me my favourite BrewDog beer, and now I've got like 2 more cans in the fridge that I'm not even really too fussed if someone steals it or someone else drinks it.
Mm.
But yeah, that's been the extent of my drinking today. I had a kind of dead pony this afternoon because I was like, I'll give it another go. But it was just did not do anything for me at all.
Is that because your palate evolved? Do you think it's that theory, or
part of me thinks that is probably the biggest aspect of it, because session pale ales and IPAs for me, the more I drink them, the more I'm like, I don't like this. I do not like this sub-style of beer. I don't know. I just don't think, like, 7 times out of 10, these session like pale ales, I don't think the body holds the hop profile at all, and you don't really get any fruity hoppy flavors. You just get like that residual hoppy bitterness. So like Dead Pony Club, I mean, I've not tried Neck Oil for a couple of years.
Yeah, but, that got rebranded, didn't it?
I think so, yeah. But I'm like worried that I'll have Neck Oil and I'll be like, this it's like a waste of a beer.
Yeah.
Even though it's really quite affordable. The Beavertown's core range as a whole, I think, is well priced. Even though people are turning their backs on them because of this Heineken stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that on Facebook.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time.
Yeah, a strategic business move. He's put a lot of time and effort into building up to where it is, and it rightly so. It's sitting on a pedestal, in London and across the UK with top drawer sort of London craft brewer, and the big boys have come in with the checkbooks.
Yeah,
I ain't bothered about that, to be honest with you. I picked a can of Gamma Ray up the other day actually in Waitrose, and it's been ages since I've had it, and I used to drink it, bloody loads of it. I used to really, really love it, and I picked a can up because I saw it in Waitrose, and I was a bit taken back by it, and I got home. I put it in the fridge for a couple of hours, and I opened it, put it in a glass, didn't review it or anything, just drunk it and relaxed with it, and I was like, wow, it's an old friend's returned.
Yeah.
We started where we left off. It all come flooding back to me. Great beer, Gamma Ray, lovely stuff. What's your issue on the takeover then, mate?
To be honest, I think it was that Beavertown were always the brewery that I thought they're going to be one of those breweries that not like eats the bait, but makes the smart business decision of, if you've got a little bit more money injected into the brewery. Because I think Beavertown have proven to us that they're not they're not a supermarket brewery. They're a talented organization. They brew really fantastic beers. They've got their own identity and personality, and they actually care about beer. So I think it's good for them. I think it's good on Logan. I think it's a good move. I mean, of course, there'll be a little bit of backlash, I reckon.
Oh, of course there will.
I think Beavertown are in that position where they're not like the hype brewery, so there won't be that. Oh, I'm not going to buy any Beavertown beers again. I don't think they'll suffer that sort of backlash, but they'll lose a few customers just because of the nature of those customers. But I think.
Yeah, but they'll gain a few customers because of the distribution changes to it. I mean, the beer's popping up in Waitrose, so I don't know.
I mean, when a brewery's got its own like specified like barrel room and aging sort of system. It's not like they're just going to stop that and go, yeah, we're just going to do neck oil and lupuloid and gamma ray and smog rocket. That's all we're going to do. I think they're going to still, produce really interesting collaborations. I think they're still going to be going to all the craft beer festivals around the world. So, I don't know. But again, I think they're one of those breweries where it's not too much of a defeat for like the craft beer elitists to like kick up a stink about. I think a lot of people will say it was just a matter of time. It's actually happened. But again, it's a minority stake. So it's not like Heineken of like, we own 51% of your brewery now.
It's more of a to ease expansion, isn't it, or something along them lines?
I think so. I think it will help Beavertown get their beers outside of the UK and maybe have a little bit more money injected into the brewery itself.
And if you've got someone like Heineken that have got a global distribution sort of avenue to go on, then that makes it easy for a brewery that are contained to one country.
Yeah.
To sort of start boiling their cans out in Europe and maybe further afield. Because Heineken have got that reach, haven't they? They've got that global reach where Beavertown haven't. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I mean, it's only time will tell with the quality. But that being said, I've not really bought too many Beavertown beers in this past year or so. So it's not like it's going to affect me personally anyway. Because it's not going to be like, oh, one of my favourite breweries is sold out. I don't have that attachment to the brewery itself. But I think it's a good business move. Because out of all the breweries who deserve that sort of like mainstream, because Beavertown are mainstream anyway, I'd consider them quite a mainstream craft brewer. I mean, even like restaurants and like burger places were stocking their beers like 2-3 years ago, so it wasn't so it's not like they're not an accessible brewery. But as long as they keep that sort of like the Tempest project going, and then collaborations with breweries from around the world and brewing interesting beers.
Yeah, I think they've got no reason not to ditch that, because that little sideline project thing that they do, that works. I can't say I've had any of their one-off beers that they've done before, but I've seen them popping up on various bottle shops websites. The Tempest project. I've seen it pop up, but I've never sort of like gone in for the kill on purchasing any of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, their core beers, pretty decent lineup, really. I do like that Holy Cowbell. That's a pretty good stout.
It's a very good stout. From what I remember, I don't think I've reviewed it though. I think I've had it once or twice, but it was I've never had, put it this way, a bad Beavertown beer.
No.
I've never had, I've wasted my money on this can. I've never had one of those instances.
They've all been pretty solid.
Yeah. Even Bloody Hell. I haven't managed to get this year's, and I don't think it's worth trying to get a can now because it's been out for quite a while. Although, with it being in a can, I think those citrusy flavours will still be there. Because that's the great thing when you've got like a citrus fruit infused beer. you don't really need to depend on the hops because you've got like the orange, and I think that's the beauty of something like Elvis juice. It's they've obviously had an opportunity to cut back on the amount of hops they use in that beer, and then like bulk it up with grapefruit. So I think citrus infused IPAs and pale ales, I think that's a really good sort of go-to style for a brewery to do, because they can get a really fruity, like satisfying beer without having the expense of buying all the hops for it. So I think bloody hell, the first batch that I had from 2015 was absolutely gorgeous. The following year, 2016, I was like, still nice, not as good as the original, but I can't imagine the 2018 batch being like a drain pour.
No, I can't remember which one I had now. I don't think I had the first. I think I had the version 2, if we can call it that. But for me, it's a beer I've done it now, and I don't think I'll go back to it. Whether they tweak it or put a spin on it or whatever. I've reviewed it. You know, I liked it at the time. That'll do me, sort of thing. So I'm not going to chase after that beer.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that, to me it's been a long time coming. And I think there have been lesser deserving brewers who have been given the cash injection of some of the bigger conglomerates, and I think that's why we've seen a lot of the breweries getting taken over. But I can imagine, and this is purely speculation, but that wasn't like an instant sort of transaction.
No, they've come calling before, I think.
Yeah, that must have been in the works for a good couple of years, I reckon.
Yeah. I mean, I can't recall who actually purchased Camden. Was it InBev?
I think so, yeah.
I think they were, if not the first London craft brewery to shall we say, fall to the big boys' checkbooks, or maybe fucking Meantime with InBev as well, or now Asahi. I put my money on it that there was a knock at the door at Beavertown from a big brewery, like you said 2 or 3 years ago. They would have definitely come knocking, saying, "Look, you know, we're showing interest here, guys," you know, and probably got turned away. I don't know, but yeah, this isn't the first time it's happened.
No, it just can't be.
No. They brought a lot of attention to themselves, haven't they?
Yeah.
With their branding and their setup and everything. It's bound to attract people like Heineken to sort of look in and see what's going on. And other London breweries as well. I mean, Four Pure, Weirdbeard, Brixton, sorry. You know, there's loads, isn't there? Colonel. Grew by numbers.
I don't know. To be honest, I've actually been quite surprised at how quiet the craft beer community has been with regards to that Beavertown takeover. Or, well, it's not a takeover, it's a minority stake. But yeah, I think a lot of people, unfortunately, might have written them off quite a while ago, to be honest. But I get it. At Beavertown, I've never had a bad beer, even though the last time I had neck oil, it suffered from that. It's a session IPA. It's a little bit thin.
Then,
but you know, on a
maybe that's your palate evolving now. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I've come to realise that those sorts of styles, because when I tried the Dutty from Tiny Rebel, the exact same thing. You get like this really nice hoppy, fruity taste up front, and then as
washed
soon
out.
as as soon as that beer hits the tongue and dissipates, it's like, yeah, I've just got like residual hoppiness now. But yeah, and to be honest, I can think of much worse companies than Heineken to take over your brewery. If that was like a move to actually do like we want a majority stake in the brewery, but I think Heineken have some sort of respect for the industry.
Yeah.
Because I think that like special beer they did with like an old yeast strain.
Oh,
what was it called?
Was it H41?
Now that's quite a big risk for a company of that size to take, because I can't think of too many people who are like regular sort of Heineken drinkers going, oh, they've got an ancient yeast strain and they're going to make a new beer from it. I'm going to have to buy that. It's like, no, you buy like 6-pack after 6-pack after like multi-pack after multi-pack. That's what those beers are primarily consumed for. I mean, of course, you'll get the people who they can appreciate the brewing process that goes into that beer. But a lot of people who drink Heineken, you know, it sponsored the Champions League. So a lot of people see, oh, Champions League, and eat beers for the, you know, Liverpool Real Madrid game.
Yeah.
So people buy into that sort of, it's the sponsorship of the.
Yeah. I suppose you could say the same about Budweiser in the NFL, couldn't you?
Exactly.
You know, sponsoring that, the Super Bowl, and product placement. But it works, doesn't it, to the masses? It does work. People buy into it all. I've got no problem with Heineken. I've drunk it numerous occasions. It's a pretty decent go-to beer. It does the job for me.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been that way inclined to like look down on a beer, because if I'm at a social event or if I'm with friends and family, it doesn't matter what the beer is available, I'll drink that beer, because I don't want to be that person who goes, oh, I can't drink that. It's like, why, Peter? I just can't drink that beer. Yeah, there are some occasions where a beer is a beer.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I was best man at my my mate's wedding over in Norfolk Way, near Peterborough actually, and it was middle of nowhere, and he hired out a village hall, and they got they had a bar already in there. They got a team of people in to do it, and all they had really in bottle form was Marston's Pale Ale, and they had this Guinness, Guinness in a can where you put it actually on this thing, and so I kept swapping and changing from Guinness and this Marston's, and it was like, fucking hell, I was getting sick and tired. It was all room temperature, it was quite a hot day, and they were just pulling them out of these boxes, and it was a warm, I don't even know what fucking style of beer it is now. I'm sure it was a Marston's Pale Ale, but it was like, but I just kept rotating from that to Guinness, just because, but that's all that was on offer really. Or I could have had white wine. I didn't want to go down that road.
No. And it's a messy route when the wine comes into play. I've never had a good experience when there's been wine as the main form of alcohol.
I don't get on with it anymore.
No, I just cannot handle it. It doesn't take much either with wine. I mean, the Manchester piss up was one thing, but if that was wine, I shuddered to fucking think what would have happened or what I would have said on that night. Just like beer tuber hangout crying edition. Just like the camera sat on the floor. Just,
yeah.
It's like, Pete, why are you taking the t-shirt off? I'm so sad. It's like, no, I can't do wine because shit like that happens. But yeah, I think we've deviated slightly.
We have, yeah, we've gone a bit of course. What the hell?
But
maybe it's the ABV that's coming into play a bit now.
It's the ABV and the drinkability of it, because that's all I've got left now. That is, it's literally like drinking something like chocolate milk or something. You're getting those like desserty flavors, but that ABV is really quite deceptive.
We need to rate it.
I think we do.
I think it's been an excellent 2 beers, and it's maximum marks, mate. 20 out of 20. But you know, it's glorious stuff.
It's 10 out of 10 for completely different reasons on my end, anyway. If we were to compare the 2 beers, I would probably lean more towards the Augustiner, because I could drink more of that as opposed to this.
This is a finisher beer, isn't it?
Yeah, this is. You couldn't buy more than like 2 cans at most of a beer like this if you were doing like a beer shop. And I think that's what sort of the Augustiner has over the Evil Twin, because I can't imagine too many people buying multiple versions or multiple like cans or bottles of an Evil Twin beer compared to like an Augustiner, just for price point alone.
Yeah, it's got its place in like if you're having a day, you know, if you're having a bender and you're banging out the pilsners and lagers and IPAs. This is just like to finish that sort of bender off with a nice imperial stout. Just to end it all. It's one of them. I definitely want to look more into their beers.
Yeah, I need to give Evil Twin a bit more of my time and attention, but the price point for Evil Twin works against me.
Yeah,
quite a bit, to be honest.
It is a bit off-putting.
And especially with the British craft beer scene now. You know, you go to your local bottle shop and like that week alone, like 20 new beers have come in from British breweries, and it's like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good.
There's loads that catch your eye, and you think, oh, that looks bloody fantastic. That does. You scroll down a bit more, and then you see the price of it, and you think, fucking €12 for an IPA? What?
Yeah. I mean, it was like when I did the Order of Optimism, and I saw, oh, they've got some Prairie Artisan ales. So I was like looking through, and I mean, I know like their imperial stouts. They're renowned for the imperial stouts, but it's like, I don't know if I can justify that. And then I saw that they've got a sour for like £4. I'll give that a go.
I love that.
Yeah.
They've got quite a few cans out now, haven't they? The little 330 cans.
Yeah, I think so. Or with that sort of like tiny label, so it looks like it's a homemade jobber.
I saw, I'm not sure if it was Beer Jum or Beer Republic, but I saw a nitro, I think it was a nitro milk stout from them, and that was €5 a can, which I thought weren't too bad really for Priory, because they are renowned. Well, the bottle form,
Yeah,
you know, £10 a pop easy. You know, you might get some in your for €8 or so, but it's normally around about the £9.99 sort of mark. I do tend to sort of get a couple of their beers every now and again on special occasions, just to justify splashing out on it. A thirsty bomb. So the missus got me a Bible Belt can. I've still got it in the cupboard. I haven't looked at it yet. That was, I think that was €10 a can, but it is a big can. It's the same as the Eagle Twin.
See, that's the thing that probably eases me into paying those prices, is like the amount of beer that you get for that money. But it's like, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I had the Infinity Vortex from Northern Monk, which was done with Other Half and Equilibrium. Both, I think they're both New York breweries. I know Other Half is, and that was like, I mean, the review's going to be out in about a couple of weeks, but I drank that and that was like the best New England style IPA. But that being said, if I saw that Another Half, like double dry hopped IPA, was available for like £10 to £12, but then I see like Verdant doing a double dry hopped IPA for like £4 to £6. I think we're going to go with Verdant, to be honest.
I think that's. Go on.
I was just going to say, but with that being said, I think pricing has come such a long way now, where it is dangerously justifiable to pay this and this much for this and this beer because it's this and this brewery.
I don't mind splashing out now on Verdant beers because I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah,
I've had a few now, and it's been around the £6, £7, £8 mark. And yeah, I mean, there are people out there that would go, "Fucking hell, you're mental! Buy one can of beer, £8. What are you on about?"
Yeah.
You know, fair dues. It's not something I do on a weekly basis. It's sort of every now and again, maybe once a month, I'll have a bit of a splash out. But Verdant are probably one of the only UK breweries where I'll commit to them prices because I know I'm going to get something back in return. Yeah. Because I have had burnt fingers in the past before where I've especially some of these European websites that deliver to the UK that bring in some of the American stuff that we don't see that often for €10 a pop. And it's just been a multi-fucking mess because you're not the freshest of beers, and you feel like you've been fleeced good and proper. But with Verdant, different ball game. You know, you're getting what you pay for almost, really. It's worth every penny. Great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the Verdant are one of those breweries where I've not had too many beers from them, but every time that Verdant name is attached to a beer, whether it's their own or it's a collaboration, I'll drink it and I'm like, that was damn good.
Yeah.
That was really damn good.
I really do want to see some of the American guys trying some of their stuff because I think they'll be taken back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right, definitely that they're on the UK pedestal, but it just be nice to see the other guys trying their beers because it's top of the game really. I think they're over Cloudwater.
Yeah. See that's the thing with Cloudwater. I'm more interested by the other styles of beer that they do, compared to the sort of like, this is DDH Citra version 7.6, and it's like, but then they release like the Mandarina Hellers, and I'm like, okay, I'm paying £4 for a simple lager, but if you do it well, I'll feel more satisfied paying that £4 for a simple, like, German style Helles lager than maybe a can of like your double dry hopped Citra Euconaut 2.0, which I opened way too early.
Too green.
Yeah, and it's like I'm going to struggle to finish this beer. But then again, it's like, do I really want to pay £4 for a lager? So there's like all these like weird little ideas and thoughts that come into your head when it comes to the buying of beer.
It is a proper fucking headache sometimes. I don't know where you order your beers from. I tend to sort of rotate from different companies.
Yeah.
And I always find I get like I build up 8 or 10 beers in my head, what I want. And I'll go onto one web shop and I'll be able to get 8 of the 10 because they don't do the last 2. But the other website that I've been looking at, they do the other 2, but they don't do the other fucking 8, you know.
Yeah.
So I've got to compromise somewhere along the line, and I'm thinking, well, I don't want to. I don't want to compromise. I want these 10 beers. Now they've got to be them ones. But
yeah, I was like that.
It's just weird how it works.
It is. It's such an interesting, and that was like when I did the Optimism order. That was like the perfect order, because there was like 3 beers on this website that weren't on these 2 websites, and then there was like 2 beers on this website that weren't on those other 2 websites, and then it just seemed to like all fit together when I was like ordering it. Oh, they've got that in stock. They've got this in stock.
Yeah.
They've got that in stock. It's maybe £1 dearer here, but it's like, I want to try this beer. And I'm in a position now where I can justify that, because I used to be terrible when I used to do like online orders and going to bottle shops. I'd always be like picking like these 2 beers off the shelf, putting them in like the whatever carry case I was given, and then like 20 minutes later, I've probably added like 2 or 3 beers to this haul, and then I'm like, no, I don't want you now. I don't want you. But now it's like, if I want a beer, I'll just buy it. Obviously, I don't go too over the top. I always stay like within a sort of strict confinement. But I've become so much more open. Like at one point, I was like, they want to charge this much for that much beer, and now it's like, oh, they only want to charge this much for that much beer at this style, and it's like, it's crazy. It really is crazy.
I mean, I going back probably 3.5, 4 years now. When I was a smoker, I was spending probably about £70 a week on cigarettes, whether it be tailor-made or rolling tobacco. Yeah. And I thought, fucking, I'm not knocking this on the head. I'd had enough of it. So, 3.5 years off the cigarettes. I'm not spending 70 quid a week on beer. No way, because I'll probably, you know, the odd bottle here and there from supermarkets and stuff when we're doing the weekly shop, you know, a couple of quid here and there, and then I'll put a couple of orders in once a month, you know, 20 quid, 25 quid, something like that, you know. So I know I'm under that. What I was spending before in cigarettes, I know I'm well under. And this is a far more rewarding hobby than bloody lighting and things. No disrespect to people that are smoking now, but no, I don't want to be one of these sort of. I used to smoke, but it's demonize it now. You know, if you want to smoke, you fill your boots, whatever.
You don't do one of those people. I used to be like you. It's like, fuck off.
Ex-smokers are the worst. You fucking bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You want to carry on smoking, fill your boots. No problem there.
Yeah.
But I was just, yeah, I just wanted to do it. I wasn't bothered about health. It was saving money, to be honest. But yeah, this is a better hobby. Far more rewarding.
Yeah, and I find you can take breaks a lot easier from something like this compared to most hobbies. It's like if you want a week where you don't want to drink a beer, it's like I don't want to drink a beer for a week.
Yeah,
make sure I don't.
I'm not getting the sweats.
Yeah,
I get time out, so I'm all right. I'm good to go on a break.
Yeah. I'm not losing sleep and getting up like first thing in the morning, like itching my skin, like going. Ugh.
Yeah. Time for a 6 a.m. beer review.
Yeah, but that being said, I do have those weeks where I'm like, you drank a little bit too much this week, even though it's still like within like the constricts of like even like the minimum amount of beer or alcohol you should be consuming each week. It's like if I know that I've been a little bit too heavy, I'll feel guilty about it, and I'm like, okay, just calm down.
I don't. It's like everything, though. You know, too much of a good thing takes the edge off it. I'll have a few cans when I can, you know, and enjoy them. I'll never take the piss out of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I've found a lot when I'm doing like the late shifts at work. Towards the end of my shift, I'm like, oh, it's going to be really good when I get home. I'm going to have maybe a couple of beers. But then when I get home, I'm like, can't be arsed. And I think that's quite a good thing to have, where it's not like I'm a slave to this sort of hobby. If it got to the point where I knew it was going to be an actual detriment to my health, I'd be like, I'm sorry, guys, I can't do this anymore. It's just too much.
Alarm bells would start ringing one day, and you know you have to take your foot off the gas. You never ever want it to be sort of like where you're chained to this, turning the camera on and reviewing the beer for the sake of it, because that spoils it. What's the point? You know, doing these two beers a day reviews, you know, just to keep up with the bloody flow of it. That to me, that spoils it. That just ruins the whole experience. If you want to have a beer, you want to review it, or you just want to just drink it. I want to do more of just drinking beer than turning the camera on. I must admit, there, you know, I did slip into it a bit, where it was, oh, I've got a brand new beer, I need to turn the camera on to review this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm drinking it. I'm just going to sit in the garden and drink it. Bollocks to it.
Yeah. It's exactly the same as I've been like recently, especially with doing these like beer subscription boxes, because I was like, oh, I need to get like all of these beers reviewed within at least 2 weeks of me receiving the beers. But now I'm like, no, I'll have maybe half of the ones that interest me, like genuinely interest me, I might do a review of, and then the rest I'll just drink if I'm in the mood for a beer, or if there's like a hangout going on and I need something to just keep me going. But there's no like real need to like, Peter, you need beer today. Make sure you drink beer. It's like, if I want a beer, I'll have a beer. Sometimes I'll be craving a beer, but then I'll be at the point where I'm like, can I really be bothered having a beer? I'll just go to sleep or whatever.
Yeah. It's like any indulgence, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's like, you could say the same about someone who likes chocolate.
Yeah.
If you're going to eat chocolate every day, and not just like, oh, I'll have like maybe maybe 2 blocks off this like £2 dairy milk that I bought. But if you're like every like waking out, you're like, oh, gonna have more chocolate, more chocolate, more chocolate. It's the same thing. It's gonna lead you to the same sort of place. You're gonna end up in the hospital for some sort of ailment. So I don't know.
I used to,
But that,
I used to work with a guy for about 3.5 years, and he was at McDonald's every day.
I could not do that.
McDonald's breakfast, and then lunchtime he'd pop out, he'd jump in his car, and he'd go to the drive-through and he'd get a Big Mac meal or whatever was on. And he did that 5 days a week, as far as I can remember, for 3.5 years while I was working with him. And he was like a bloody beanpole.
Yeah.
Which, you know, all right, he's not showing it like that, but it's what's going on inside, isn't it? Because there must have been some sort of
there must have been some sort of strain for that.
Yeah, bloody double sausage and egg McMuffin meal, guaranteed every morning. And he did that, and then he'd have a McDonald's meal for his lunchtime, and he did that 5 days a week. And I think, you know, Jesus, just hooked on it.
Yeah.
Get off it. He said I can't think of anything else. That's all I eat. I said, do you eat it when you knock off work as well? Oh, occasionally, me and the missus will go to a drive-through and we'll get like a 20-box nugget meal. You just live and breathe McDonald's.
Yeah. See, stuff like that, it's like I have to be like rarely out of character in the mood. It's like I want to have that, like, because I think you can either get like the chicken nugget meals that aren't actually on the menu that you can only get if you request them. Like, give me that 50 nugget chicken meal.
50-piece nugget meal.
Yeah, 50-piece chicken nugget meal, please.
Yeah, and a 10-litre Coke.
Yeah, I need this, but I don't even see like McDonald's or place like that as like convenience food. It's like I'd rather spend the time back at home preparing something to take for like the next day than just don't have any lunch. Let's go to McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean I've got young kids, so occasionally we go to places like that, at Burger King, Nando's. You know, we do it occasionally in a treat. My pockets aren't deep enough to do it sort of like on a regular basis, but it's okay in a treat form. But I always find, especially McDonald's, I come out and I'm thinking I'm still fucking hungry.
Yeah.
Never does the job, does it? Never does the job.
I think the only time I've been satisfied with McDonald's is like the breakfast menu. That's the only time, because I know I don't need anything else after that, because it's like the first meal of the day.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, the idea of like, I mean, my younger brother, he's become quite dependent on like ordering food and like getting Pizza Hut delivered and like Domino's and stuff. And I'm like, I'm eating it, and I'm like, it just makes me feel sick most of the time. Like, I'd much rather pay like, even though I like to like make as much food as I can, I'd rather pay like a couple of quid for like a frozen pizza than pay like upwards of 10 quid for a Pizza Hut pizza.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, personally, I'd rather make a pizza myself, like very basic, like pizza dough, and then I can put what toppings I want on it. But you know, frozen pizza, I fucking love frozen pizza. But I don't need to like order Domino's or a local pizza place to deliver it to me, because I know for a fact that it's going to be so full of grease, and probably the like attention to detail and cleanliness is not going to be 100%. And I just feel like absolute shit after like fast food. And it's only in like extreme circumstances where I'm like, I'm really in the mood for a McDonald's right now.
Yeah. I like the big tasty burgers that they do every now and again.
That's good. That sauce that you have on the big tasty is
Yeah, something else, isn't it? That
yeah.
sauce.
Just put that in a
Yeah,
bottle, please. Sell
yeah.
that in
Just
bottle form.
bag of chips, just a bit of that sauce, just
Oh
dip
yeah,
all day long. Yeah, that sauce is really good. But I mean, again, it's you eat that meal. I have a big tasty meal with bacon and a strawberry shake. I eat it, and yeah, I do enjoy it. But I always think I haven't quite hit the spot there. I'm still a bit hungry. Still
yeah.
need a little bit more.
But yeah, I'm exactly the same. It's like even like that with like the local like fish and chips places that we've got. It's very hard to find a good fish and chips place.
Yeah, we've got a few good ones around here, and the best ones are always foreigners as well. There's my nearest chippy. She's from Vietnam. Her and her son run it. Chips, absolutely fantastic chips,
Ooh.
and the fish, lovely, massive, big piece of
Yeah.
fish. Batter's tip top, nice, decent cod. It's fresh, tastes really good. And I've gone to other chippies around my way that have been open for 20 years plus. British people have been running it, and you get a poxy little bit of fucking fish like that.
Yeah.
Fucking lunchtime's chips warmed up, and they
Yeah.
want the same price for it. Nah.
No. I don't know. I mean, I'm not exactly the healthiest person, as anyone can clearly see, but when you're seeing these people who are like every day they're like going to McDonald's because it's just, I mean, I understand it. It's easier, it's simpler. You go there and within like 5 minutes you've got your food ready to go. But I always feel like shit afterwards. I just can't like digest.
That's the world we live in now, though, isn't it? Where
Yeah.
everyone's sort of 120 miles an hour.
Yeah. And that's why I don't really get excited about like, oh, Five Guys is opening in the UK. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy it, but I'm sure that there's like a burger place in a local city to me that does much more better burgers. I'll probably pay a little bit more, but I know for a fact that when I go home, I'm not going to be like raiding the fucking crisp straw or like pulling out like a pork pie or making a sandwich. It's like, I don't know. But yeah. So I think we've made it clear that both beers are absolutely awesome beers. Both
Tip top.
Yeah, both
Tip-top stuff.
standout examples in their own ways, which you couldn't ask for more, to be honest, with sort of like a live review.
Two beautiful experiences, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you once again.
No problem. It's the least I can do for all the stuff that you've done for me over these past 3 years. And yeah, it's always great. I mean, the beers are great, don't get me wrong, but the fact that I've been able to do this live stream just adds that little bit more of a sort of like a special, unique aspect to the beer itself. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think people rarely lose sight of that with this sort of stuff. It's always about, look at this beer that I've got, this beer that I've got, and it's like, yeah, you're enjoying it on your own. There's no one else around. I'd rather do stuff like this, where even if it's just like a live hangout, I'd rather do something like this than just be sat on my own just now.
It's the closest we're going to get to sort of like sitting in a pub, ordering the same beer and discussing it over a table, isn't it? It's that's the closest. Yeah, I've really, really enjoyed tonight, mate. It's been fantastic. With two first class beers. We we got lost away in conversation, didn't we? Sort of
Yeah, and that's what it's all
halfway through the
about.
second beer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that's
I
what
know a lot of people would have like cut this stream short a while ago, but it's like if people have got things to say, then just let them say it. And if
yeah.
because I know for a fact that there are people. I mean, people are still commenting right now. We've got 7 viewers
Okay, cool.
and we've got quite a few comments. So that's what it's about for me. Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, I know I'm probably going to get a few more viewers after the thing's gone live, but
Mm.
I don't care really. As long as I'm enjoying the beer and the company.
Mm.
I don't care if I get like 10 views or 100 views.
No, it's never been about anything like that, though, is it? It's just about sort of experiencing good and bad beer, and sort of trying to sort of propel it onto YouTube, whether it be sort of a solo video or a hangout like this, where you
Yeah.
can almost just switch off from reality for a couple of hours and just lose yourself in the world of YouTube with a fellow beer tuber and talk about bloody anything, really.
Yeah, that's it. The beer's just one part of it. It's like what else goes with it. That's like the important thing for me personally.
Next week, Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah, we'll do a political discussion for all the. We'll talk about Tommy Robinson's arrest. We'll talk about Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Jacob Rees-Mogg, yeah.
Yeah. We've got you covered.
We've got to throw in Trump as well, haven't we?
A little bit of Trump. Give our Trump update. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of Kim.
Yeah.
Kim pulls out.
Yeah. A little bit of that special interest. Yeah. But yeah, that's what it's all about, really. The beer's one thing, but it's the stuff that goes along with it that I find a lot more satisfying. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love these beers just like being sat, doing a review normally and just like sat there like, oh, this is really good. But the fact that I've been able to like share this with someone else just adds that like little bit more of an intriguing edge to it. But yeah, both 10 out of 10 beers, both highly recommended if you guys come across them. There have been so many comments since the last time we've read them that I don't think it's worth reading them out. But people watching this will be able to see those comments down below because Google's seen sense and actually showed the conversations that happens on live streams. Yeah, it's a small step forward, but it's a step forward nonetheless. But yeah, massive thank you to my co-host and fellow beer enthusiast Dean from Dean's Beer Reviews. Always a pleasure to share these beers with you. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And then big shout out to Craig, Terry. Who else have we got in the comments? Paul from Beer Brew News. Yeah, we've got Joe from the Beer Patrol. We've got Kerry from Red Beard Beer Reviews, or is he just named as Red Beard? Yeah, he's Red Beard. Rob popped in to give Dean the compliment of the T-shirt, which is a pretty damn good T-shirt and a pretty damn good brewery by all accounts. And we also had Earth joining us from Joey D's sort of chats. And yeah, Red Beard says, best shout out ever.
You're all fucking legends.
Yeah, you certainly are. And yeah, it's the clueless drink away. it's all hodgepodge. It's all rough around the edges.
No script, is it? Just
Exactly.
it.
It's just whatever comes to your head, no matter how obscene or absurd it is.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to refer to a beer as running through a hayfield with your hand slowly gladiator style, touching the corn, if you want to do that, perfectly fine. And of course, Redbeard says, and I get my comment read, winning. And then Joe says, legends in our own mind, perhaps, smiley face. I can't think of any more fitting words than those to end this stream on. So thank you all for watching. Massive thank you for Dean for sharing these beers with me.
Until next time, my friend.
Until next time. And I think we've already got the next episode sorted. So
yes,
look out for that in the near future. See you guys later and have a good one.